Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be starting a long, beautiful journey through the ultimate difficulty of Grim Dawn. That doesn't sound super exciting right away, but wait, there's more. Not only will we be smashing our way through the baddies, we are going to find all the lore notes, read them, fight all the bosses, and do all the non-bounty table side quests. All that stuff, well, all the stuff that's possible. So that means we're going to do our best to 100% this piece outside of things like the Sorrow's Bastion factions and everything else that has a one or the other type choice to make. Now, let's get this bad boy started. We have to talk to Captain John Bourbon to get the game going. I'm really going to summarize the text bubbles with all the characters because there is a lot to read, and some of them have important stuff to say, but really some of them don't. So, all that out of the way, Bourbon really just calls us expendable, says there is a lot of zomboids massing outside. After prodding him a little bit further, we realize we have no memories, and we've just been told about the Grim Dawn for the first time. There's not much detail, but we get the picture that Devil's Crossing is the only real place left for people that the captain is really aware of. When you ask the Cap about the ethereals, we really just get a vague answer about what they are, but more to the point, what they do. So if you weren't aware at this point, the ethereals possess living beings and can manipulate their bodies from inside. You basically become a meat puppet whose body can be liquefied and repurposed into something like a meat Hulk or a meat popsicle. Perfect for sweaty summer festivities. After that, the captain sends us on our way and says, "Go get him, champ. You can do it. I believe in you. If not, you're dead. Nobody misses you." And we all go on with our lives. So that brings us to Lower Crossing. Now, when we're in Lower Crossing, there is a couple things to pick up. Like I said earlier, we didn't pick up a single lore note before the ultimate difficulty, so this is where we're going to start grabbing literally all of those. There's also a couple corpses lying about with what I consider starter weapons, if this is your first time playing through on normal or so, or you made a new character without all the fancy potions or XP gear. Serendipitously enough, the first corpse is a lore note starter weapon combo, which is pretty great and perfect for those late night cravings, so that'll be $5.99 at the window. Please pull up. Also, this man is dead, so rest in peace. I'm sure you're in a better place. I'm going to read all the lore notes. You're welcome. Here we go. I'm trapped here, I realize now. I will die in this house. Margaret, I fear that you are already dead, and so it may not be so bad if I am to shortly join you. If by some miracle you yet live and return here to find this note, please know that I am not angry with you. I've never regretted our life together, but now only regret that I lost my temper and spoke unkind words when last we parted. I hope you will not think me a coward for what I'm about to do. They are already in the house. I've barricaded myself in this room, but it is only a matter of time before they break through. All I can do now is choose the manner in which I face death, and I would rather die a man than be changed into one of those horrid things or eaten alive. I will love you always, Francis. Yes, I'll just take my vow right now. Thank you for the applause. I appreciate it. And wouldn't you know it, we've already picked up yet another lore note in just a couple houses down the block. So let's see what the harbor master has to say. Autumn fogs are appearing early this year, but traffic remains unusually high. There is a steady flow of small craft coming down from Malmouth and other ships to the northeast. Some of these boats are barely afloat, burdened with what looks like people's every possession. These travelers, sometimes entire families, bring with them strange tales of wars and the unnatural. Bunch of hogwash riling up the soft townsfolk. Can't complain though, keeps the docks busy. Most are westbound, trying to get as far away as they can. The lads at the docks are starting to lose their nerve. Some have talked about setting out west themselves, but I've assured them this is all nonsense and will pass. Youth are easily caught up in the energy of the moment. I know, I'm just a man of so many talents, right? Different voices, different reading, different stuff all the time. There is actually quite a few lore notes in the lower crossing area here. I think there is at least 4, so we're gonna find some more. We're gonna read those, but yeah, there's actually a lot to unpack with some of these too. The Harbor Master log being, you know, one of those early eerie notes that you hear about the Grim Dawn before the Grim Dawn actually happens. And, oh look, there's Faldus. Don't forget to pick up Faldus. He's hiding in a cabin like a scared little man. But that's okay because this is the apocalypse. You should be scared. If you're hiding in a building and you're not dead, you're probably doing something right. Oh look, another lore note. We've got Inquisitor Creed's first and second entry. I am currently en route to the village of Burwich in order to investigate a number of strange incidents that have been reported in this area, as dusk is drawing near and the swamps of the region are said to be hazardous to travel at night. I've reluctantly taken up lodging at a small, squalid tavern in Lower Crossing. Perhaps I'm weary from my hurried travels, but I feel as if there is a strange pressure and electricity to the air. It's almost akin to the still before a thunderous summer gale, but yet the sun shines and not a cloud is to be seen. Everything seems as it should, but in my gut I feel that something terrible will soon come to pass. Pull up your britches, buckle yourself in. There is a part 2 to the Inquisitor's Journal, and actually like a part 12, so, you know, get ready. As I was packing to resume my journey to Burwich, my assistance was urgently requested at a logging camp in the old grove west of Devil's Crossing, where strange animal attacks had left 3 lumbermen listless and pale. Upon arriving, I received a somber greeting from the foreman, who informed me that the bitten workers had gone mad and fled the premises. They were reported to have spoken in an unknown tongue. The foreman showed me the remains of the animals, 2 gray foxes and a hound, suffering some sort of horrific mange. They lay in a hastily dug pit behind the outhouse. The foreman told me the animals suddenly died when confronted by the workers, and a strange green vapor emanated from their remains. Shortly afterward, the 3 lumbermen fell ill and their mental state rapidly deteriorated. It appears that my presence in this region is most warranted. Now, with those 4 rapid-fire lore notes out of the way, we can actually talk a little bit. We have some free time. I can breathe. Ah, perfect. Smells good. I mean, breathes good. Air stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Francis's note, the first guy, the dead body with the starter weapon, that gun actually isn't terrible. So if you're going for an early on ranged build, pick it up. I dare say it takes you up to level 10, level 15 without much difficulty. But the other lore notes are more about the setup and kind of the pretext to the Grim Dawn, the big, terrifying stuff before it actually happens. So it's if you're not reading the lore notes and if you actually care about what's going on in the world of Grim Dawn, I definitely recommend stopping and taking a listen or a look, because that atmospheric storytelling in this game is absolutely ridiculously good. I love it a lot. But we've already killed the Reanimator. We've killed Kazog in his burial chambers under the burial hill, full of corpses, full of big tree roots. Really actually cool looking set piece. There is a lot of really cool environments in this game, but you have to be paying attention to them because they're kind of hard to see. Devil's Crossing, I mean, in and of itself is, it's a big prison castle surrounded by basically a river/moat. I mean, it's cool. It's really cool. Speaking of Devil's Crossing, don't forget this lore note over here. It's hiding in a corner. Don't forget to pick that up before you go talking to all the people inside Devil's Crossing. So, Sedina, she is our spirit guide. She couldn't do anything about the Reanimator because she is a pacifist or, whatever, can't fight people. Understandable, just a spirit user, magic wielder. You know what it's about. But it's time for another lore note. Now, I ain't a decent man, and I sure ain't good at writing, but words need to get out about what this place really is, this prison. It ain't like no joint I ever been in, and I've seen double my share. Men don't stay here long neither, and some of them lads they haul in, they ain't criminals. I know. Moment I see a man, I can tell by his eyes that he done wrong. These boys, I see fear. I seen this warden a couple times, big man, black armor. If you ain't know any better, you'd think he was on the wrong side of the bars. Every day he and his lackeys take prisoners out to his hut in the yard by the dozen. They ain't never come out. Later a wagon rolls in by the hut, always leaves full. They don't let us out of our cells no more, but I can tell there ain't much of us left. The halls are quiet. I'm the last man in my row. The others, they was taken in yesterday's batch. I ain't asking for pity. I know my end's in that hut. But perhaps this note will be my one good deed in my pathetic life. And if that ain't one of the most dramatic lore notes you'll ever hear from a prisoner who just got carted off into the great black abyss of etherdom, or whatever we're calling it. But anyway, since we're in Devil's Crossing, don't forget to talk to everybody. All of these people will either give you side quests or a bunch of XP. Sybil will ask you to go find her brother and then kill him. That comes with a lore note as well. Gonna get on that business quick. Faldus will give you the scraps he picked up out in the area as long as you rescued him. And obviously Sedina is full of, wisdom. But yeah, this is the Old Grove. This actually, you can't access this part of the map without scrap or money. So you need a lot of both. So if you are on your first normal playthrough, you're not going to have a whole lot of ability to get here. But there is this pile of junk laying on the ground next to a big statue wielding 2 shields. So bust open that scrap pile and pick up the totally normal Arbiter. This is really just the first shield that you're going to find for the right-handing if you want to go that build. It's got some cool stats. It looks really, really cool, but, that in and of itself might not be enough for some people. But yeah, let's go talk to Barnabas and get the rest of these questions done. Now we've got to have a quick conversation about some water. The kind that's not full of diseased bodies and waterborne pathogens. Barney asks us for some scrap to fix the pump, which is easy enough, especially if you have already gone through the game once, because you should just have a ton of this laying in your inventory. But then we notice the water is spewing green. Turns out there's a bunch of snake people puking in the well, and we gotta pull out the plunger of justice to make sure that the people of Devil's Crossing can drink the good stuff. So we start down the trapdoor, head through the convict's tunnel, and into the zombie-filled prison basement. Let's not forget the last bastion of humanity is just up above and definitely has nothing to worry about when they're sleeping over the flaming zombie pit. Am I right? So, yeah. Convict's tunnel, a little short, but the prisoner's basement, there's some spoils. It's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Finding hidden stuff is always really cool. But this will just take you down into the Slith Den, in which you are going to cap a bunch of snake people. I guess this is as good a time as any to talk about the rest of this video series. So since it's all ultimates, all of my reputation is mostly maxed out. I do need to do some nemesis farming as it is with this one, so I do want to find all those nemesis bosses for you guys, do those in one playthrough. This build is actually really strong. It might not look like it right off the bat, but it is doing a lot for me while we're playing through, and I really love the way that it plays, so it's going to be Old Faithful, I think. But again, this playthrough is going to be focused a lot on the lore, a lot on the background, and picking up everything, 100%ing everything, doing all the stuff that you can possibly do on a single character, and that really is fantastic. I mean, this game is fun. The gameplay loop is really fun, picking up gear, finding out what's going on, that's good stuff, but if you are at all a lore junkie like I am, this game has so much good stuff hiding in the background just for us to read and to know about the universe. It is so cool, and the environment's so cool. If you really stop and take the time to smell the roses, or, the meat puppet shaped roses, you're gonna actually get a better appreciation for this game. I really think so. But all that being said, there is a lot. So I understand if that's not your thing, but you'll probably see a lot more of that stuff as the game, or as the video series progresses. Now, we are coming up on our second devotion shrine location as well. These will all get checked off the list one by one, so if you need a series full of exactly where they all are, I will show you that. Remember though, devotions are different in Ultimate. There are extra devotion shrines in Ultimate, so if you don't have them all unlocked, there are extra ones here that you can pick up to make that quicker, even though you should 100% already have as many as you need, because between normal and ultimate, there is more than 55 shrines to pick up. So yeah, do it. Find them all. Do all the side quests. Have fun. It's good, I promise. So let's recap where we're at in our story right now. Since Grim Dawn only tells you as much as it can through speech bubbles, I'll do my best to explain it for you, since this is a story playthrough. But at the moment, we have just fallen off the noose. The hangman didn't cut us down. Captain Bourbon shot us down. The hangman still hates us, and probably always will, because, you know, he's only got one eyeball and he can't see us for who we truly are. But after that, Captain Bourbon tells us that we're expendable and he needs us to help the town, prison town, because the people can't be bothered to do so. So after that, we marched all the way up Burial Hill, went down into the Burial Cave, found a reanimator, which is a huge ethereal, creating more ethereal zombies with the corpses of the dead. So let that sink in for a moment. The reanimator was building up an army of dead people, probably a bunch of people that these poor Devil's Crossing souls knew, to come and eat their brains in their sleep. So that is the end of that. And after that, Bourbon asks us to talk to Kasparov and Barnabas. Kasparov is the guy who created the wards that you might have noticed around the Rift Gate that we come into through Devil's Crossing. And once we fell in there, the ethereal that was possessing us got trapped. They strung us up, and the ethereal bitched out, left our body at the last minute. And now we've got some residual aether powers. So that's what allows us to pass in and out of the Rift Gates and kind of block the ethereals from using them on their own. Kasparov is researching all of that stuff, but only has so many fingers, and kind of aether charges us with our first extra quest, which is gathering those aether crystals. So from there, we get buffed up, get a skill point. Super happy about that, because having an extra one is fantastic. And then we're going to go talk to Barnabas. That's when we got the water quest. Fixing the water. Did all that stuff. Everything's good there. Barnabas gives you his backpack, which is going to give you your first extra inventory tab if you're playing on normal, or if you're playing through the game for the first time. So that is an important quest. You have to do it. It's not like you want to skip it anyway, because it's good stuff. But we're pretty much caught up. So after talking to Barnabas and Kasparov, the captain says, "Hey man, meet me in my office." Now, after the short detour to the old dump, checking out a little bit of Whitemire, we meet the captain to see what is up. We get a good job for the Barnabas and Kasparov. Kudos. I mean, everybody loves a good pat on the back. But Captain Bourbon has some more information from us from one of his scouts, and everything going on out in the rest of the world past Whitemire. From this point, the captain tells us that there are a lot more dead massing out in Burwich, and that they think that there is something at play behind all of the dead people crowding and marching in one central location. So, basically, we get the opportunity to go out even further into the world, inspect stuff, scout stuff out, and see if we can find out what is behind all the big, angry zombie armies having a party in the big town. I think we all know at this point already, obviously, if you've played the game at all. I mean, spoilers, but the warden is the big bad ethereal for the first act. But that doesn't mean that the nuance to the storytelling is any less diluted. We're not supposed to know much about that until we get there for the very first time, but you know, sometimes you just gotta go with the flow. I may have also forgotten to mention it while we were in Devil's Crossing, but Harmond is another NPC hanging out in the town, and he gives you a bunch of money, asks you to kill 3 specific zombies, of which you'll see at least 2 in this video, but those are big zombies. Each of them do their own type of damage. One does poison, I believe that's Pharaoh's. One does lightning, which is Jillian, and Negan is the fire guy? Anyway, killing the 3 of them will get you the quest completion for Harmond. He'll give you some more money, but he gives you money just for accepting the quest. So if you are first time playing through, talk to that guy, pick up some money, go to the shop, buy yourself a decent piece of gear, and start hunting zombies. Julius and Milton Hart hang out right across the road from each other. You know, they went to college together. They had some beers, pledged the same fraternity, or I don't know, is that how that works? I have no idea, but they're bros. So when you find one, you're very close to the other. Just remember that. Now, in terms of exploration, remember that Whitemire does have a couple things going on. So you can find your monster shrine here, like we just ran up on a second ago. You have your... there is at least one little side quest out here. There's also a couple more corpses with starter weapons on them. So you have one corpse over by Julius that has Cavrors. It's a bone. It's an offhand that you can summon a little doggy with, and that dog is really good. If you're looking for a starter pet item, that is one I would go for. There is also a Gavlin's crossbow, which will happen upon soon. But this is our first little side quest in Whitemire. This is a cave in which a couple of bandits have taken a few rovers slave to mine some stuff in the cave. Poor Jasper here looks pretty sad. He's lost a couple friends already. And you can even offer to take these guys back to Devil's Crossing, but since they're rovers, they're like, nah man, I gotta rove. The road is my mistress, and I must entertain her. So you know what? You're free to go. The bandits are all dead. They're also gonna drop us a lore note, which is pretty cool of them, so let's go find that thing.
We got ourselves a bunch of them idiot rovers wandering in our hideout the other night. They were unarmed, as they often are. Of course, they tried to run when we jumped them, but a little good that did them. Now we have ourselves a few slaves digging in the mine. We can't eat coal, though, and our food supplies are starting to run out. The rovers barely had a few scraps between them. With the Burwitch Bridge destroyed, we're stuck in this swamp. I'm beginning to wonder if perhaps we made a mistake by not following with Cronley's gang to the west. May not be much pickings in the wilderness on that side of Devil's Crossing, but at least they had numbers. Could probably hunt down a decent-sized boar between the lot of them. Out here, we got nothing but Slith and the dead.
Well, I'm not sure if anyone told you, Mr. Bandit, but crime certainly does not pay, so... Anyway, we're off to find Milton Hart and Julius the Decayed. Gotta find the frat bros while the getting is good, and make sure that we pick up Milton Hart's lore note to his sister so she can have some peace of mind about, you know, him being actually dead instead of a zombie who may in fact come back and eat her brains in the middle of the night. Don't forget as well, if you do find Milton Hart, he will occasionally drop a very, very good soldier monster infrequent known as the Cask of Milton Hart. So that is a helmet, does some really good stuff for you if you're looking into like a blitz build, and I would highly, highly recommend picking it up. Especially on normal and elite, it's going to be extremely good. Ultimate, you might find, you'll definitely find something better, but don't sleep on it. It's really, really fantastic. So Julian and Milton go down Throwing it up till the end. Big, huge frat party in the sky. And we've got to read Milton's last words.
I'm afraid I may have to break a promise. I'm not about to give up yet, but things aren't looking good outside. I was lucky to survive that first night when I volunteered to distract the rotten walkers while Bourbon and his group, including my little sister Sybil, make their way through to Devil's Crossing. I believe in Bourbon, and if anyone can get those people through, it's him. Before they left, I looked Bourbon in the eye and told him to keep her safe. You keep her safe, Bourbon. He put this arm on my shoulder and spoke in that calm, reassuring tone of his. He told me that he would do everything he can, but I had to promise him something too, that I would do my damn best to get out of this alive. Well, you know what, Bourbon? I didn't. I'm sorry. Well, I've sure got myself into a fine fix. I've diverted them walkers all right, but now I'm all hemmed in. I've been hiding in a group of old dilapidated shacks and keep changing position whenever the dead get too close. I can't find a way forward, though, and I'm running out of daylight. The walkers seem stupid generally, but I think they dug out the riverbanks last night, allowing the water to wash the road out. It's almost as though something is directing them. I've not done yet, and I have no intention of dying in this rotting shack. I'm gonna go try to break free and go out fighting if I have to. If the worst comes to pass and you're finding this note on my cold corpse, well, please, let my little sister Sybil know what's come to pass and tell her to be brave. I can only hope she made it to Devil's Crossing.
I've never realized it, but maybe the frat bro voice is a lot harder than I give it credit for. So, you know, that was tough. That was tough. Anyway, we're on to the side quests for this early part of the game. I'm not going to dive too hard into Hargate's Isle here because I do want to pick up the actual quest from Kasparov later on. But this is how you get to it. We used the little boat from Lower Crossing to get here, the little rowboat. It's nice and easy. Pretty good stuff. And now we're moving on to the Hidden Path. The Hidden Path is the second side quest that is nice and tightly kept secret off to the side of the river here. You do need dynamite to blow up this detonation site to get over to the Hidden Path, but lore note, here we go.
Welcome, seeker of truth, to this bastion of knowledge. You have taken your first step along the way to the deeper truths as countless brothers and sisters have before you. The path now presented to you is a treacherous one. You will be persecuted for your practices, hunted like a rodent by the Empire's Illuminati hounds. But to persevere, to endure the trials that our patron lords have endured, that is the way to true power through the Eldritch Realm. You stand before the Shrine of Truth, the oldest of the Great Witch The Great Guardian sought to know all, to see the truth behind the veil that blinds us all. In arrogance or perhaps foresight, he cast aside the ancient warnings and the cautionary words of his peers. Dream reached into the veil and witnessed the workings of the gods themselves. For his hubris and struck minds by wisdom. Then, his eyes had become truly open. Exposed to the wild magic of the Eldritch Realm, he was forever changed. Cruel spines pierced his flesh, the sick blood dripping from the festering wounds for all eternity. When emerged from beyond the veil, or Olympus had still damned enter, Dream was reborn, a god. Dream now watches over all of us, his fearless gaze pierces through our very souls, and sees us for who we are. To stand before the Great Guardian is an honor without match. To honor his voice is a blessing to the heavens themselves. You are indeed deserving of his attention, then follow the way of the free, travel to the broken lands beyond the Arcodian border, where Argus feast on the flesh of the unworthy. Seek a path blocked by snow. If you carry the message Dream, the way shall open before you.
It's pretty sick, right? It's pretty foreboding and dark and deep, and it is really cool. I like that story going on behind our big apocalyptic nightmare between the Ethereals and the Chthonians that we haven't even seen yet, but we'll run into next episode. This is also the third shrine in this stage of the game, so pick it up if you're on Ultimate. It's truly worth it. But thanks you so much, everybody, for hanging out. I truly appreciate you sticking with me. We're almost at that 1,000 sub mark, which is a pretty momentous occasion, and I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me. But that is it. I will see you next time. Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye.